The Secret Sauce of Sales Success, Module 1, Sales Team Setup, brought to you by Constructum Consulting. In this presentation, I introduce you to the first of 3 modules in this program, namely the Sales Team Setup. This 3-part program is aimed at building a high-performance sales team for your business. You know you have a great sales culture in your business when you see evidence of the following. Focus. A sales team focused on the right target market, focused on delivering a solution to the customer's problem, and a team focused on achieving its sales targets. Activities. You see evidence of high volumes of quality sales activities. Pipeline. Your sales team consistently delivers a pipeline of new business. And results. You see evidence of individual team members and the sales team as a whole hitting their sales numbers. Module 1 is all about laying the right foundation and comprised of 5 parts. Map out the sales process. Derive a sales funnel made up of sales activities. Decide on the composition of your sales team. Build a profile of the right salesperson for your business and assess the financial viability of your sales scheme. Every sales process is made up of a series of sequential steps concluding in a sale. Mapping out the sales process for most entrepreneurs who hitherto have been the main person in the business driving sales is probably the hardest part of building an independent sales team. As business owner, you must lay out a formal sales process that has up to now been an intuitive process. Over many years, you learned lessons and developed your own process of finding and concluding new business. But salespeople need guardrails within which to operate. Salespeople are not business owners. They do not have a vested interest in your business. They are unlikely to have your experience or expertise. As business owner, it's up to you to give the sales team clear directives. There are 4 main reasons for mapping out the sales process. Align strategy with sales efforts. Protect the integrity of the sales process. Ensure legal compliance and integrate the sales process with existing business processes. All sales processes start with prospecting, the success of which depend on a clear business strategy. Giving your sales team clear instructions about how to prospect for new customers is essential for creating focus. Where are you taking the business? What is the right target market? Who is the ideal customer? How will the salesperson distinguish between potential customers, suspects, and real customers, prospects? Poor prospecting is the single biggest reason for failing sales teams. When I ask most business owners, where do you find customers? The most common answer is almost always something like, my customers know me, they like and trust me, and refer their acquaintances to me. Prospecting for most businesses revolve around the person and personality of the business owner. Salespeople do not represent themselves. They represent the business. The transition to a business with an independent sales team require a clear prospecting strategy. Another reason for mapping out the sales process is to protect the integrity of the sale. You developed a good reputation for delivering on your promises, but now with a sales team, you are handing over responsibility by mapping out and enforcing compliance to a sales process. You protect the integrity of the sale. You accomplish this by monitoring clearly defined sales activities, making up the sales funnel derived from the sales process. But now I'm getting ahead of myself. As business owner, you have a vested interest in the business and will do everything to comply with legal requirements. What is more, you understand the regulatory requirements of your industry. But salespeople do not have a vested interest in your business, and you cannot assume that they will understand all the legal and regulatory requirements applicable to your industry. By mapping out and enforcing a sales process, you ensure legal compliance. There is always going to be at least potential for friction between the sales team and the rest of the business. Salespeople are desperate to protect the sale and will put pressure on the rest of the business to deliver. By mapping out the sales process, you are able to integrate the rest of the business processes to deliver a seamless service to the customer. Integrating the sales process with the rest of the business processes also allow you to monitor sales activities and to drive sales performance, as we shall see in Module 3 of this program. Every business's sales processes differ somewhat, but all sales processes must contain the following elements: prospecting, the process of identifying potential customers; contacting, the ways in which contact is made with a customer; needs analysis, a structured process of assessing the customer's need; pitching, presenting a solution that meets the customer's needs and preferences; and closing, arriving at an agreement with the customer. Mapping out a sales process is your opportunity to create an excellent customer experience. You must enforce compliance to ensure that the customer experience is consistent. At the end of the day, a properly designed and delivered sales process generates high volumes of quality sales activities. Having mapped out your sales process, you must then derive a sales funnel made up of clearly defined sales activities. The principle is this: you cannot manage sales outcomes. You can and must manage sales activities. The old adage remains true: you can only manage what you can measure. Identifying key sales activities allows you to measure and monitor sales performance. More on this later in Module 3 of this program. What we are presently interested in is understanding what activities and in what ratios must be performed to deliver a single sale. In other words, how many prospects must be identified? How many potential customers must be contacted? How many customer needs must be assessed? How many sales pitches made to eventually arrive at a single sale? Analyzing your sales activities allow you to arrive at something like a sales budget. Let's say you estimate that a competent salesperson needs to identify 100 prospects, make 80 calls, assess 10 customer needs, and present 8 pitches to arrive at a single sale. Your next step is to estimate the time a competent salesperson needs to perform this budget of sales activities. Let's say you estimate that a salesperson needs 12 hours to perform the budget of sales activities. If an average work week comprises 40 hours, then it is reasonable to expect that a competent salesperson should generate at least 3 sales per week. 3 multiplied by 12 amounts to 36 hours. Now, you can apply the secret sauce of sales success, namely, to effectively translate sales revenue targets into sales activity targets. If you know that a single salesperson can reasonably generate 3 sales per week, and let's say you want 12 sales per week from your sales team to hit your sales revenue target, then it follows that you need a team consisting of 4 competent salespeople to accomplish your objective. Having determined the composition of your sales team, you must now consider the profile of the salesperson your business needs. What skills must a competent salesperson have to perform their function? What character traits are you looking for in a salesperson? How much will such a salesperson earn in the marketplace? Have you considered what remuneration your direct and indirect competitors are offering salespeople? After all, we are all in a competition for talent. Lastly, you must consider the profitability of your sales scheme. Up to this point, gross profit has been a function of sales revenue minus the cost of sales. But now a new element is introduced, namely sales remuneration. Given the profile of the salesperson your business needs and the composition of your sales team, ask yourself the following 2 questions. Assuming your sales team hit their numbers, will your business still generate a gross profit of sufficient value, that is after paying sales remuneration? And is there enough profit in the scheme to allow you to attract the profile of salesperson you desire? If you cannot answer yes to these questions, then you need to consider alternative strategies to generate more sales. However, if you answer yes to these questions, your next step is to consider how and from where you are going to find suitable candidates to recruit. Sales recruitment and selection is the topic of Module 2 of this 3-part program. This presentation is brought to you by Constructum Consulting. Visit Constructum Online Learning on YouTube to view the remainder of this 3-part program.